Hey guys, this is Sketchbook Gail. Welcome back to the channel. I'm back here at Urban Motors because they have something really special on the lot today, and that is this. This is not your average 4Runner. This is actually the 40th anniversary 4Runner. I wanted to make this video sort of as an homage to what this model is because it's been around since 2009. So what we're gonna do in this video is of course talk about the front end design, the side, the rear, interior, see what's different from a normal SR5 4Runner in this 40th anniversary, and then of course we're gonna take it for a drive. They're only gonna build this in 4,040 samples, so why would they build it in that specific number? So let's talk about some numbers here. They've sold 4 million 4Runners since the inception of the model, and it's their 40th anniversary, so there you have it. And the thing is, it hasn't had big upgrades since the introduction of 5th generation in 2009, just a small redesign or facelift in 2013 where we got these new headlights. So let's start with the front end design and let's see what this car is all about. Now, this is of course a familiar face to many. The 40th anniversary only comes in 3 colors. You can get it in white, like we have here, you can get it in black, or you can get it in a bit sportier red. I'm not sure which one I would pick. I think the black looks really good with the bronzed out details that we have on this specific edition. So looking at the front end, this car is not really a beautiful design to me, but what makes it beautiful is not a beautiful styling, I should put it that way. What makes it beautiful is that it's been designed in a very nice way. So it's designed for a purpose, and purpose-built and manufactured cars always have a special place in my heart. And this, as I said, it's not the most beautiful front end, but it's very functional. Just have a look at this bar that goes right in the middle of the grille, but we do have the Toyota Heritage badge right here in this beautiful bronze color that we're gonna see all over this car. And then down here, you see these lines right here. I love how they cut the corner of both ends of the car. It looks almost like this entire front end is kind of hanging out from the front axle and creating this very nice ground clearance that you have down here. Now, looking closer at the headlight design of the 4Runner, I really like what they did in 2013, and it kind of did bring it up to a maybe not a 2023 model. It's starting to look a little dated with the bezel that you have going, for example, around the fog lights here and the internal parts of the headlights. But we do have a nice daytime running light that goes right here with the LED light bulb that we have here and the clear covering for this, and that sort of brings it up to a bit more modern standard, at least than what we had back in 2009. And I also like this cut that we have here. One thing that I wish they wouldn't have put on the 4Runner, or at least made it functional, is of course this air vent here. This is just plastic. I can't put my fingers in here. It's covered up with this matte black plastic. It doesn't look too good, but it's still very functional. This has been around, as I said, since 2009, the 5th generation. So what is the price for this specific 40th edition? Well, it starts at around $47,000, and it's based on an SR5 Premium, so I think it's still a pretty good deal. And these are still selling like crazy today, even though there's a new Tacoma coming out soon, which means that there's probably going to be a new 4Runner out very soon as well. But if you look at the sales numbers, these are still going very strong, and I think that just goes to show just how well built they are and how purposeful they are when it comes to the off-road capabilities. Coming to the side view of the 4Runner, same thing here. I wouldn't call this a specifically beautiful design. There's no beautiful styling shoulder lines going on here, but we do have this big squared off fender. So this again goes to the priority of functionality, functional design over nice looking styling. So these wheels, the bronze finish, we have 265mm tires all around the car. But one thing I would change here is I would definitely switch out these wheels, these tires, because these look like more road-friendly tires. They don't look that rugged like the rest of the car. So I would immediately switch these tires out to something a bit more aggressive and a bit more off-road capable. Now, one detail that I would like to experience with when it comes to the design of this, specifically the side views, you see these fenders here, they are painted in the body color, but I think it would be interesting to see what it would look like if we painted these black, for example. It would kind of give a little bit more visual space to the wheels and tires, and we have a nice ground clearance of 9.6 inches in the 4Runner, specifically this version. And overall, it's just this rugged industrial look that I think is going to become over time a timeless design for the 4Runner, even though a new one is just around the corner. Now, what sets this apart from the regular 4Runner when it comes to graphics is obviously, you can clearly see it here in the side view, these retro trim or graphics that we have. I love that it follows the C-pillar here and gets thicker. I also love these colors. It brings me back to, I think, the 80s or 90s. Gives me some old school vibes, and I love that they implemented that here on this 40th anniversary. In addition to all the black graphics that we have, for example, the wheels, the badge in the front, a couple of details in the interior and the rear, which we're gonna have a look at in just a second. Another interesting detail that I always thought looked maybe a little weird with the 4Runner is this line here. So look at the greenhouse, how it goes straight and then has almost a perfect bend to it right here. This bend has always looked interesting to me. It's, again, functionality is gonna give you a lot of headroom on the inside, and then how it goes in and kind of continues into the front fender. Pretty smooth transition here. This is a nice styling feature of the 4Runner, how the A-pillar transitions into the hood. And I also like that we have the body colored door handles here, even though, as I said, I wanted to try and see what it would look like if we made these black. Now, coming around to the back end, the rear of the 4Runner, this is also a view that everybody is so used to seeing. I feel ever since I moved to Colorado, it feels like, honestly, every other car is a 4Runner down here, and you can definitely see why. They have that capability that you're looking for. They are very reliable, specifically the powertrain has been around for a long time, so I can see why people are still buying these cars. We have a body-colored bumper down here on the 40th anniversary, and we have the 40th anniversary still again in bronze, the logo right there, the emblem on the lower corner. And here you can see these new taillights that came out in 2013, I believe, with the facelift, with the LED dots inside here, always definitely bringing this up and keeping it alive when it comes to styling for at least one more decade, which it actually has now from 2013 to 2023. And also the 4Runner logo that you have here, and the badge, of course, also in bronze. Imagine if they were to put a chrome Toyota logo here. It would ruin everything that goes on around this car. So I'm really glad that this stuck with the bronze color here. We have a couple of interesting details right here on the side of the rear window. This plastic piece looks a little out of place. I'm not sure why it's there. Of course, it's to cover something up, but I don't know if they could have extended the body line to this point, or if they could have extended the window up to this point and kind of remove this plastic piece. However, I do like the spoiler that we have up here and the function that this spoiler has. Remember when we talked about the Jeep Trackhawk, which had the wiper situated right here, and you can see it resting on top of the rear window. It looks a little ugly when you have that. So this actually houses the wiper up here, and this is something I think every single SUV should do, to just hide this wiper up here. It looks so much cleaner when you look at the rest of the graphics of the rear end. Welcome to the interior of the 4Runner as well. In here, it's very familiar. It's been around for a very long time. However, they updated the interior here a few years back, so now you have everything you need in this infotainment screen. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and what I love about this interior is that this is one of these cars that definitely, the exterior, almost industrial, military look kind of transforms into the interior as well. Look at this bar that we have here, for example. Super industrial. We have this almost aluminum, brushed aluminum finish on it, even though it is plastic. We have the 1 of 4040 badge right here for the 40th anniversary, and we have a proper glove box, huge in comparison to the rest of the size of the dash. And we have a very small distance from the steering wheel to the windshield. And this is what I'm talking about with this slope that we have, the curvature of the greenhouse. It brings the windshield super close to the driver. And I think that's a pretty unique driving position to be in. And then we have this gloss black all over the interior. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. We have some gloss black, this metallic paint that we have on the door handles right here in the middle, and on the center console, a little bit in the steering wheel as well. It's a small detail, but I just don't think it suits this car to have that gloss black. I would rather have it be in this finish all around in the interior. But the thing, we need to talk about these dials. These are the best function, like when it comes to a functionality standpoint, these dials, it doesn't get better than this. First of all, they're massive. For the vent, for example, for the climate control, for where you want the air to blow. They're so huge, In addition, they have a super rugged texture all around them. And I'm sure you know this by now because you've probably been in a 4Runner in your lifetime. They've been around for so long. But this is one detail that I would not want to change, even though it came out with a 2024, 2025 model. I would still keep these dials. They're industrial looking, super functional, no problem driving on the highway, figuring out what it is you want to do with these dials without looking down on a screen. And again, brings in that functionality from the exterior to the interior as well. You have a very old vintage looking clock up here, and you have the vents, square vents, right where you expect them to be up here, perfectly positioned, easy to use. And down here you have the button for the rear window, which of course you can lower down all the way. A very unique feature for the 4Runner. And this big dial here is for the transmission if you want to have it in 4 high, 4 low, auto, and so on. You have a decent sized compartment here for some storage, pretty deep down. And you have a big sunroof up top, which, as you know, I would probably not option for that. I'm not sure if I can, but I would not want to have that up there. And then we have a pretty decent housing for the gauge cluster with analog dials, which again, I don't mind because you have this 4-inch screen in the middle, which you can configure and do whatever you want with, while still having the 2 main dials being analog and looking very classy. I like the small little frosted glass or plastic pieces that you have on every number. It looks really clean, and in my opinion, almost more high-end than if this were to be just a digital gauge cluster. So let's fire it up and let's see what this sounds like. So up front we have the, by now I would say ancient transmission and gear and engine up front. We have a 4-liter V6, 270 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, or 278 pound-feet of torque, connected to an ancient 5-speed automatic. I can say that about a transmission, but this is what you get. The fuel economy is not going to be the best, but for what it's meant to do, the 4Runner, it does that pretty much better than any other car in this category. Here we are, guys, setting off in the legendary 4Runner, and this is, as I said so many times in this video, this is a car that's been around since 2009. 2009 to 2023, that's a lifetime when it comes to car models, maybe even more than a lifetime. It's really old, and it really drives like a, I would say this drives like a truck. So the first time I was here in Colorado, maybe 3 years ago, we were visiting, and they had a 4Runner as a rental car, and I got so excited because I thought, yes, finally I'm gonna get to feel what this is all about. If you've driven a 4Runner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nothing really special about it. It feels super heavy on the road. But what I liked about it when I was renting one was that the capabilities that it had off-road. And I think these are actually going to hold their value really well, even though there is a new one coming out, simply because, as I've said, these are purpose-built machines. They are built to do one thing, and they do that thing really, really well. There we go. It's definitely not the quickest machine. Again, that's not, this 4Runner doesn't care about being fast. You do have that super reliable V6, 4-liter V6 up front with 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. So let's floor it here and let's see what it can do. Sounds pretty good, but it doesn't want to go fast. You can tell that this is, okay, do I really have to push it now when you floor it? And it's not that type of machine, and that's totally fine. I think we need more cars like this that are sort of narrowed in or have their specific niche that they do very, very well. Right now we have so many cars, specifically coupe SUVs. They try to be amazing at everything, which means that they become great at nothing. And this is not one of these cars. It doesn't brag about its top speed, 0 to 60 time. This is about the off-road capabilities and the reliability of this car and what it is capable of doing for the price that you're paying. I enjoyed this review very much. I think this is a special car. I'm glad that they came out with a 40th anniversary to celebrate 4 million 4Runners sold. And thanks again to Urban Motors for letting me review this car. As always, I'm going to link their inventory down in the description. And thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video.